compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Chosen Freeholders was provided in the following manner. It was published in the Press of Atlantic City, mailed to the Current Journal and Hammond Gazette News, and posted on bulletin boards in Atlantic County, in Atlantic City, here at Stillwater, in the County Clerk's office. All rise, please, for an opening prayer.
We need to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well.
Amen. Attention, salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Bennett?
Here.
Bertino?
Here.
Corsi? Here. Days?
Here.
Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Gatto?
Here.
Kern?
Here.
Risley?
Here.
Formica?
Here. Freeholders, we've all been provided with a copy of our minutes from October the 2nd. If you are present, had a chance to review them and wish to comment, correct, or make any changes, please do so now, or I'll take a motion to adopt those minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Abstain.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes. Moving on to our first order of business, Ordinance 15.
An ordinance amending Section 74 of Chapter 4 of the Atlantic County Code entitled Boards Not Allocated Within Departments. Final reading.
Moved and seconded, and ordinance final reading, welcomes public input. Anybody in the public wish to comment on this ordinance? Any freeholder comments? Call the roll.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Recused.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes, 16, please.
An ordinance to vacate and abandon a site triangle easement across Block 127, Lot 85, in the city of Margate, first reading.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and ordinance first reading will welcome public input in 2 weeks after its second reading. Any freeholder input here? Call the roll.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes, 17, please.
An ordinance consenting to ordinance number 9, 2018 of the City of Absecon entitled An Ordinance Amending and Supplementing Chapter 350 of the Code of the City of Absecon entitled Vehicles and Traffic by adding a new Article 18 entitled Traffic Control, first reading.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Again, this ordinance first reading will welcome public input at its final reading. Any freeholder questions or comments? Jerry, we're just in support of an Absecon ordinance here, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And, okay. Call the roll.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
First reading, yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes. We have Chapter 159s. I'll take a motion to combine and adopt those.
Motion. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 551 was withdrawn. We'll go to 552.
Amending Resolution 413 of 8/28/18, agreement with Unique Management Services, Inc., to provide for a recovery system for library services. No additional cost.
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public input. Freeholder comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Move on to 553, please.
Agreement with Atlantic City Electric Company for the installation of LED lights on existing poles along certain county roads and on the existing poles of the county's Tennessee Avenue parking lot, $555,474.57.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public concerns. Freeholder comments?
Mr. Chairman, we just discussed this in the finance meeting. There was no objection, and we're excited to note that our move to LED lights should start to yield us some savings throughout the years. More significant than the 3% that's listed. We believe it to be closer to, I think it was 50 or 67%.
I agree, and the amazing thing is, the first reports of these roadside LEDs are the replacement is going to be less frequent, to maybe
Yeah.
every 5 years
Yeah.
instead of every year, so
Exactly.
that's the other thing that's pretty good. All right, any other comment? We will call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 554.
Professional services agreements with various appraisers to establish the 2018-2019 appraisal services pool for various county land acquisition projects, amount not to exceed $150,000.
Motion. Second.
Moved and seconded. Public input here. Yes, sir, please state your name and where you're from. Back. Hi, Creed.
Creed Pogue, 169 Cumberland Avenue. Mr. Chairman, my question is, how many appraisers are in the pool?
It's a question for our administrator.
Three.
Three applied, that's correct, yeah.
So 3 applied, 3 are approved?
That's correct, yes, right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input? And this use of this money is strictly as needed, so we may never even get to,
Right.
I mean, because our land acquisition, I presume, is for projects only, and certainly not, certainly not open space, right?
What deals with rights of way, it could be open space if we're gonna go purchase open space. We've had requests to look at properties outside of open space that people wanna give to us, and so we go have them appraised, just to get a value of what the property is, so we've done that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Please call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 555.
Agreement with the City of Atlantic City to provide environmental health and hazardous materials response services within the jurisdiction of Atlantic City, amount not to exceed $48,000.
Motion. Second.
Moved and seconded. Public input. Freeholder comments? Call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 556.
Amended competitive contract sub-grant agreement with Response Alert for the provision of personal emergency response system, net increase $10,000, total amendatory contract amount $45,000.
Motion. Second.
Moved and seconded. Public concerns? Freeholder comments?
Sure.
Freeholder Gatto?
Just to mention, we discussed this and actually the next one in our finance meeting as well. This one is related to increased usage by our seniors, which is a good thing. And the next one is to also help offer our ability to offer youth shelter beds, which we haven't been able to do. But there were no objection by the finance committee on either.
Thank you. Any other comments? We'll call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, resolution 557.
Renewal agreements with various vendors for the provision of youth shelter beds, amount not to exceed $120,000.
Motion. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any public concerns? Freeholder comments? Call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 558.
Bid contract with Charm Tex to furnish and deliver inmate uniforms and supplies to the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $166,374.44.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public interest, Freeholders, call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 559.
Amended lease agreement between the County of Atlantic and the Atlantic County Women's Center to lease a portion of the county's property located at 201 Shore Road, Northfield.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public interest in this resolution. Freeholders, call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 560.
Lease agreement with Contact Cape Atlantic, Inc. for use of county-owned premises located at 25 Dolphin Avenue, Northfield, New Jersey.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Again, any public interest? Freeholder comments? Call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 561.
Public donor agreement with the County Women's Center.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public comment. Freeholders, call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 562.
Acceptance of deeds, easements from various grantors in accordance with Atlantic County planning standards.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public comment. Freeholders, call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 563.
License agreement with the developers of Block 127, Lot 85 in the municipal tax map of the city of Margate, County Planning File Number MG2, 2018, concerning construction of mini golf course and landscaping streetscape improvements along Ventnor Avenue in the city of Margate.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone interested in our mini golf course development? Freeholder comments? Call the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes, 564.
Authorizing membership in a mutual aid and assistance agreement with participating units, no cost.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public concerns. Freeholders, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Take a motion to combine and adopt our two roadway solicitations.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And you take a motion to add 567 to today's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
567, please.
Amending Resolution Number 3, 2018, and Resolution Number 505, 2018, changing the location of the November 20th, 2018 regular meeting back to the Stillwater Building, 201 Shore Road, Northfield, and informing the newspapers.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Public concerns. Freeholders.
Chairman,
Freeholder Corsi.
from whence come the deviation?
Deviation comes from the host location of Stockton College having a conflict with the date.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Brings us to the end of our printed agenda. And we now will receive reports of special committees by the board, to the board, and the public. Anyone on special committees wish to report activity thereof? Seeing none today. Any unfinished business?
Chairman.
Yes, Freeholder Fitzpatrick.
I have continued to do research about perhaps establishing a later meeting time for one meeting per month. And let me pass this on. Thanks. I I have a spreadsheet here of all the municipal meetings in the county, and we can see that the first and third Tuesdays are completely free. So, you also asked me to find out how this would affect the support staff. So I asked Ms. Harris to tell me that. And she explained to me that the support staff has a set schedule, and if they were to deviate from that schedule, they would either have overtime or comp time. She estimated that if we have one meeting per month that ran into overtime, it would be about $5,300 or $5,500 for the year in overtime. So I would like to suggest that we have a resolution for the coming year, as this is the time that we allocate money for the budget, that we have one meeting per month in the evening to make it more convenient for residents to come.
Okay.
Anybody?
Chairman,
Bill Corsi?
I previously indicated to my colleague that I was in support of a pilot, and that pilot would be that I'm willing to try it for 6 months to see how it works out. However, I did note, if there is any overtime associated with it, that this board ought to be prepared to put the necessary funds in the budget, and that we should not be willing to or want to change the current hours of our employees because they have lives also. And they, whether they have children or whatever they have to do outside of their regular work hours, and in fact, we're gonna have them come back once a month, even on a rotating basis, we need to make sure they are compensated. And I will support that type of resolution. But again, as I indicated to my colleague, I am willing to give it a try for 6 months, and if it's no show up, I'll be one of the first ones to say, let's go back to our records, and I'm not going no bunches. But I think that that's an opportunity. I remember when Freeholder Bennett first raised this issue, and I give you my own experience from Atlantic City, but we started council meetings at noon, then it was 1 o'clock, then it was 2 o'clock, then it was 4 o'clock, then it was 6 o'clock. We did all these night meetings, nobody showed up. It's the same 3 or 4. So eventually, they went back to a 5 o'clock meeting, but they did take the opportunity to do so. My only hesitation is this, and again, I will support the resolution. We move our regular meetings around, and it's the same 4 or 5 people to show up at every meeting. Well, it's 4 o'clock here, it's 4 o'clock there, it's the same people. Love to encourage people to come to the meeting. But if it's going to wind up being a burden in terms of we're trying to flex the schedule of the staff, I'm telling y'all right now, I'll be the first to put a resolution back on the agenda to go back to the regular time.
May I respond?
Of course.
I hear you, and I agree that that's a great compromise, and I'm doing this because this is what I hear most. And I feel that if we put it out there, there's opportunity for the public to come to the meeting. If they don't come, we did our job. We answered the question.
Again, agreed. I mean, I remember when Freeholder Bennett brought this up the first time around. Some people got to have that concern about it, and some people don't. More people are more passionate than others, and I get it. But I don't think it will hurt any of us to give it a shot.
Yes, Bill, again.
Just a couple questions. I think if you're, I'm assuming you're gonna prepare a formal resolution. Just to answer the question of what time are we looking at, I think you said 6 o'clock potentially. So I think we just need to agree on that for whatever the resolution's gonna be. We have to agree, is it gonna be the first or the third Tuesday? I think the first is the easiest, just my opinion for people to remember. So those are 2 questions, and then the other question I have is, you mentioned overtime, Freeholder. Are we only using overtime, or would we allow flex time? Like, just to answer kind of some of those tactical questions of the employees. Again, I don't have the answer, but that would be something I think we should have answered.
So you said it was the employee's choice.
Okay.
But long as we all, as a collective body, understand, they already have set schedule hours, and we're not going to interrupt their lifestyle because we want to move a meeting tonight, so they chose to come in let's say 10 o'clock, opposed to 8 o'clock. That's on them.
Right.
But if it's any overtime occurred, we need to be prepared to pay them their overtime, or comp time, however they chose to use it.
Right.
Those are just a couple of things I just think we need to spell out.
And I think it would be good if we also polled ourselves to see what we're doing in our own personal lives. So I don't have any particular conflict that I can think of, but, I mean, everybody should think, whenever we decide what it is, make sure that we don't have a personal conflict, so. Yes, Freeholder days.
Thank you for that, was one thing, because I did set things up accordingly. The second, the overtime, that's just from our staff, the freeholder staff, is there any, I mean, I guess we should go to Jerry's, how would administration be affected?
The only thing that would impact us would be security.
Oh.
That's it. So we have to make sure security is available, that's all.
Well, I might want to note just on that
Yeah.
point that, we do have now assigned to
Yeah.
us from our park service,
Yeah.
somebody with full police authority. What's your name, sir?
Go ahead, Hazel.
Right.
So we do have some security in here that is going to be going forward. And that was suggested and put in motion by our public safety director, Mike Fedorko. And I think it's really wise that we have somebody in a public meeting place as we can just listen to the news every night, so that's good.
Oh. Chairman, if I may.
Oh,
And please don't take this the wrong way, and no disrespect to this gentleman. I'm glad you told me, because I didn't know why he was here. I've seen some handcuffs, I thought maybe he was coming to arrest one of us, but, I'm a little concerned because now we're bringing in additional staff. Whether, I don't know what the hours are. We have outside security firm that's armed for certain buildings. Then we have the sheriff's department. So, how did this work in terms of, the public safety director, and I know he's very competent in making these decisions. How do you do that? Are you taking somebody from a regular shift and changing them? You bring them in late? Is it overtime?
I've been told that there is no impact budget-wise.
Chairman, I don't know this gentleman from a can of paint, but if he worked, and no disrespect to him, if he worked 8 to 4, for example, I just use that for an example. Here it is 4:30. He's not here out of the goodness of his heart. So my point is this, we need to find out how that, at least I'm asking, can we find out how that works? I'm glad to have him. Don't get it wrong, because I keep telling all of y'all, somebody come through that door, I'm going that way. I'm not talking to none of y'all. I'm going there, and if the camera's in the way, I'm gonna knock it out of the way. But I'm going that way. But I'm glad he's here. It's better to be safe than sorry, and I get that. But again, we have outside security that's armed. We have the sheriff's department, and you said this gentleman's from what department?
Parks,
And from the Parks Department, and certainly, that helps when we talk in terms, what time out security people leave here?
5 o'clock,
5 o'clock?
Unless there's a meeting.
unless there's a meeting, and then they stay till
Till the meeting's over.
they're ready to lock up.
Okay. All right. Welcome aboard, young man. Are you the regular?
I'm the regular.
Okay. What's your name?
Glenn,
Yeah, you say where I can keep an eye on you too.
I'm right here.
He's our chief of security.
Huh?
He's our chief of security.
He's what?
He's the chief of security.
Oh, that's
for the
good. I
county.
still want to be able to see him.
Right.
I mean, they might have to
Well,
make contact, you know, on the phone.
We want him to be over there.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
We're
I get
in
it.
good hands with Glenn. He's coming to us from
So, I mean,
years
the-
in Hamilton Township.
Oh, that's one strike against it. Which brings it back to your point, Chairman, we need to, among ourselves, does the first week, the first month, Tuesday of the month, or the third, whatever that.
We gotta
month,
poll
I mean,
ourselves.
We gotta figure out.
So, may I?
Please.
So, I'll contact Ms. Harris and ask her to poll the freeholders? Is that how that would work?
Well, first we have to make a determination, which I think we can. We'll give it a try, that's my opinion.
Okay.
I don't think anybody else is gonna be afraid to give it a try. If it gets to be whatever any of those moving parts are, staff, security, personal lives, something else starts to bump together, we'll try to adjust. But I have a lot of experience with moving meetings around myself, and our esteemed colleague there, Mr. Corsi, said it right 3 times now. It's usually the same 3. I think he said jokers, but whatever, I'll just say individuals show up, and hopefully not. Hopefully, he said jokers, but in any event, you know, we should give it a try. I mean, I'm totally not against this, but, you know, it would just be, but I do think that we should evaluate it as we go along.
Absolutely.
You know?
Thank you. And just on a kind of tangential note, talking about moving meetings around, we didn't really do a lot of that this year. So maybe as we are preparing the schedule for 2019, if we could kind of set that up now so that it's
So you
advertised.
make a real good point, and I had thought that we should, and everybody that knows everybody should ask who wants us to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that way, we'll get a good idea. Now, our love to get 40 people this year, but I mean, you know, it's
Yeah.
certainly, I like going on the road. The staff hates it, just so you know, but I like
Well,
it.
they have to come.
That's it, right.
Well,
I've
and-
had
and-
requests for Atlantic City and Pleasantville already.
But I like Atlantic City. I like
I like
Atlantic City.
Pleasantville.
I mean, the only other issue with moving things around is, like, for example, even though like Tuesdays look clear on here, like Hamilton Township Court goes late on Tuesday. So we have to give them like serious advance notice if we wanna go have a meeting there, so that they can move court time. So that's like, it's not showing up here as like a meeting, but that meeting room is not, you know, so just FYI.
Freeholder Risley?
Yeah, just briefly, Mr. Chairman, I have my 2 cents. Having been here for 17 years, I've never seen much participation when we move the meetings. It's been very, very sparse, very, very sparse. We've had some where basically nobody shows up, not even the local governing body. We've had that in the past, which is kind of embarrassing, quite frankly. You don't have a meeting in another town and no one shows up. As far as the times of the meetings, it can be later. I mean, the market closes at 4 o'clock, so I have to leave early, obviously, to get here to a meeting. So I wouldn't mind if the meeting started later. But I think that if someone really has an interest in being at the meeting and they have something pressing, they'll find their way to get here. But I'm certainly willing to give this 6-month try. You know, I have no problem with that. And see how it works out.
Okay, so we'll proceed.
Thanks very much.
All right, yes, Mr. Steedle.
I want to remind everybody that you already have in place your schedule of meetings of what time they are, what dates they are, and where they're located. That was passed at the reorganization meeting back in January. So if a resolution is to be adopted at a future meeting, where you would change that, that would also find its way into the reorganization
Yes.
resolution to the
Yes.
same extent.
Yes.
And between now and then, we'll take resolutions to change any things that's on the, like we did today, in changing the location. You'll need a formal resolution to change
Right, if
any
we-
date
if-
that you want to change as to time and place.
So let's just talk it out for a second. Suppose we do the 6-month trial, as Freeholder Corsi suggested. We would incorporate, between now and the end of the year, we would figure out where, you know, what those days are going to be, first or third Tuesdays, and we'd incorporate that into the reorg literature. Is that what you're saying?
You'll have to do that, of course, for 2019.
Right, otherwise we'd be changing it every week.
Exactly.
And then nobody would know what's going on, they wouldn't know where to go.
Exactly.
So-
That makes sense.
So, you know,
Make a plan.
Yeah.
it sounds like a plan to me.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll move on then to any other unfinished business. I don't see any. Any new business? I don't see any. Any written communications, correspondence, emails, Twitters that we want to discuss? Freeholder Gatto.
Chairman, thank you. I just wanted to read into the record the email that you, me, and Freeholder Fitzpatrick received today from New Jersey Transit. I know it's a hot topic on the minds of a lot of people in the county. So we received notification that there's going to be a New Jersey Transit board meeting. I think it's tomorrow night at 7. 6:30 is the executive board, 7 o'clock was public.
Oh, okay.
And it is going to be in the convention center, Atlantic City Convention Center, room 201. But I followed up with a question to Barbara Lazaro, who's the person who emailed us, the government and community relations person, asking what's the status of reopening the rail line, because we're coming up to the end of the year, and that's what they committed to. And this is the response that we got. Hardware installation is at about 50% completion along 66 miles of track. The work includes antennas, transponders, and other equipment that must be installed along the railroad right-of-way. The completion date for this work is not known at this time. Please bear in mind that the Positive Train Control is a system-wide program. While equipment installation may be completed on a given section of rail around the state, work must continue on installation of radio transponders and other equipment on locomotives and cab control cars. This requires engineers to move the rail vehicles to the installation sites for testing, then back to the rail yards. Rail service will be restored in mid-January. A firm date has not been determined. Please let me know if I can be of any further assistance.
Thank you.
FYI.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else in written communications, emails, and what have you? All right, I'll open up to the public. Anyone in the public wish to speak? Saying none? Great.
You have nothing to say?
You're here.
I missed you for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Oh, man.
You can carry that on in the hall. Anything for the good of the order?
Chairman?
Yes.
As you know, and certainly this body knows that League is in town this week, and we certainly hope that our colleagues govern themselves accordingly. Not too much partying, don't want to see you on Facebook and all that stuff, acting up, but think we should take in some workshops and certainly go down and see what it is that's happening in and around the state. And keep our ears to the ground and you know, continue to let this state administration know how important it is that they continue to support projects in Atlantic County as we move forward with the tech center stuff and the airport, around the airport, and let them know we're here. And I believe Senator Sweeney and them are holding all types of meetings regarding various things around South Jersey. I know that the administration, correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, there was the second meeting of that council that the governor's special guy put together today in Atlantic City with the lieutenant governor. It talks about different ideas in and around Atlantic County, and then particularly in Atlantic City, waiting to get some real concrete information from them. Where do they go from here, other than meeting after meeting after meeting? Last month, I'll just say this, I'm done. Last month, I noticed that when they had the meeting, one of the key players, in my opinion, was not invited to the meeting, which was Dr. Garber from Atlantic Cape Community College, who has a real vested interest in this area with 3 campuses. I then sent a letter off to the lieutenant governor asking that she have a seat at the table. A couple of days later, I received a call from Jim Johnson. Everybody know he's been the guy who's been kind of spearheading this whole issue for the governor. They reached out to Dr. Garber, and she wound up having a seat at the table, because it's a game changer for the stuff that just happened for Atlantic Cape Community College with the free college tuition, et cetera, for her not to have a seat at the table. Maybe it was just an oversight, but I think it's been corrected. But again, we've got to make sure that we have key people in position that is fighting on behalf of Atlantic County when all these other different entities and agencies are being put in place, and they're making a decision for Atlantic City and Atlantic County, and most of us don't even have a chance or don't even have a seat at the table to know what's going on. And so what happens is, when you find out about it, the deals has already been taken care of and struck. And so what we don't want to do, Chairman, is to have another jump whacking meeting on our end.
Oh, we don't want one of them?
No, we don't want no more of them drum whacking meetings. So I think it's all good what's happening around Atlantic City, and we continue to look at it.
Aren't you on the advisory board still with the governor? You should be hearing all this stuff right up front.
I'm on the backside.
On the back.
I think it's just good stuff happening around Lake County.
Thank you, Freeholder. Yes, Freeholder Bennett.
So speaking of Jim Johnson and the report, some of the public health indicators for Atlantic City, one of the things that the Youth Services Commission is going to be having in 2 weeks is we've developed a long-term planning group to look at the kids count survey. So that's one of the things that I will be bringing up in that meeting is how we're going to go forward addressing some of these challenges. So I'll certainly be hitting those workshops about public health and some of the things going on so that we can put together some good plans going forward.
Thank you. That's great. Anyone else for the good of the order? Freeholder Gatto.
Thank you, Chairman. Good of the order, just 2 points. Yesterday I had the opportunity to attend with Freeholder Fitzpatrick the ribbon cutting at Atlantic Care's new Atlantic City campus, which is on Stockton's campus and in the new South Jersey Industries headquarter building. Pretty impressive. They are housing occupational health, urgent care, and primary care in that office, which is a great thing for new employers in that area to have occupational health right there. Residents in that area who used to have to go to Summers Point for urgent care, and now to have a primary care doctor right there in the community for the students and residents. I think it's a great thing. It was a great event. Obviously, Atlantic Care is a great partner for us in Atlantic County, so just wanted to highlight that work there. And then also just wanted to extend appreciation to our veterans and veteran families in celebration of Veterans Day this week for their service and sacrifice.
Absolutely. Well noted.
Also, on that same line, Chairman, tomorrow, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock is the ribbon
Ribbon
cutting
cutting.
for South Jersey.
Correct, yeah.
That's good to know. We should be there for that. All right, anything else for the good of the order? And I'll take a motion. All
Second.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay?